All right, welcome to Pathbound Legends episode 3. We did not have an episode last week because I was at the beach, so sorry about that. But we are back in action, ready to go here on a Saturday, which is a little different than what we normally do. But I'm excited. It's like in the middle of the day. Like,
honestly, I kind of like this time. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
Quinn just got up from her nap. She's off now doing her thing. I didn't have to worry about any of that. And then Sundays are super busy for me because I do my weekly checks and my planning for the week for trading and all that. Yeah. And I got my platform. So it's like there's all these things that happen on Sunday. And I'm like,
I know with Saturday, like my Sundays used to be pretty light, but like now with Pathbound, like everything happens on Sunday. Like it's like it's go time. The submissions are in, so I got all my work comes in on Sunday morning. So I usually end up waking up super early and trying to get that all done. But it doesn't always work quite that easy. So that's the goal for that. So
for me, so normally on Saturdays we honor the Sabbath on Saturday. That's what we do. Okay. We still go and worship on Sunday, but I take Saturday truly as a day of rest. Yeah. And so I try to like hold off on work things. Yeah. And so I don't work out. I don't work out until sundown on I restrict the window for a full 24 hours from sundown on Friday to sundown on Saturday. Okay. And so that's why I always am late putting in my submissions because I'm like, I got to get my last workout in at night. So
for sure. Which, for the record, you can always just submit it early. Like, if you know for sure you're going to get the workout in, like, you can do it. And you can, worst case scenario, you can switch it out. Like, you can edit it before it's done. So.
All right. I'll help. I will. You know what? I will start doing that to help out because I'm sure me sending them in late is like, dang it, I gotta.
But that's the thing is it doesn't actually matter because I don't actually look at it until Sunday morning anyway. So like technically, I say it's due on Saturday night at midnight, but really like if you get it in before 4 a.m. on Sunday, which is sometimes when I wake up, like then you should be good. So. I'm not checking it Saturday. There's nothing that shuts it off on Saturday. Okay. I just want it in there because I wake up super early on Sunday. So, I wake super early every day, but, so this week I thought we could do a couple different things. So I want to show off some art. I want to talk about the factions specifically. We did a little bit of an overview before, but I want to kind of deeper dive into the philosophies and the core ideas of the individual factions since they are really like, they are the bread and butter, right, of Pathbound. They are the this is what you're doing. This is who you're fighting for. This is your why in that sense. So I want to go through a little bit. I got some new art that I just uploaded that I got done to represent these factions, but we can go into individual details about the factions and kind of what makes them tick. And then I also want to talk fitness today. So that was something that we want to get in. So and then I want to hear about your experience, right? We're moving into week 6 of Pathbound. So like next week is a big week from an ascension standpoint because like next week is when
ascensions, baby.
That is when things start getting interesting. So I'm excited to see that. We've had pretty much some pretty balanced effort so far. So we've had a lot of good defense moments. So I think next week is going to be when things start to swing a little bit and things that the whole game gets a little more tricky. So. All right, so we had a little bit of lighter week from a development standpoint this week with Pathbound, again, specifically because I was on vacation most of the week, but I was able to get some things done in the cracks. So I got some new stuff to show up. I haven't actually talked about this system yet, but this is kind of a development update more so than anything else. So one of the things that I really felt was missing as I kind of looked over the entirety of Pathbound and like what it does would we compare Pathbound as a game versus Pathbound as a community, right? So one of my favorite parts about any RPG or any game is a mount system, right? Is like being able to have a mount, right? We think about this as humans, like we like our cars, right? Our cars are this what we show up in, right? In most RPGs, particularly MMORPGs, the mount is no different. Right, your mount is what you show up in, right, and everybody sees you coming. And like there's prestige, right? Like the more armored a knight's horse is, like it gives him an element of prestige. Not only is it useful in battle, but it also provides it like a hey, this guy is legit. It increases like fear factor almost even. Right. So the mount you show up on, I think, is really important, and I felt like. With any major game that I've played, if they did not have a mount system, I was disappointed. So I decided that Pathbound needed a mount system. Now we don't have gameplay in Pathbound, but that doesn't really mean we can't have a mount system, right? So the actual bits of the system are still to be determined. However, basically what a mount will do will have a tag system similar to Ascension, where if you use a certain mount type on a certain battleground, you will get a bonus to your points.
Okay. Oh.
So we think about things. The most obvious point, or the obvious thing, would be something like a ram, for example. A ram has the ability to climb very well, much better than we expect it to. So in mountainous territory, a ram would do very well. And you can imagine a combatant mounted on a ram in a mountainous battleground would do a heck of a lot better than something mounted on, like, let's say a raptor or something. Like, we're just pulling that out of nowhere, but like, it's not going to do as well, right? Now you take that into account. Something like a cat, which is naturally stealthy and has soft footballs, that's going to do a lot better in like a jungleless territory or somewhere where there's lots of places to hide. Different battlegrounds have different elements and terrain types. So those terrain types can be used to apply this mount system. So that's what we're going to do. And then
I like that. I do like this idea.
Yes. So we're also going to add a little bit of prestige when it comes to it. And there's not just one mount, right? So of course, a horse is very general, right? A horse is a horse. Right. So it's going to be good at a lot of different battlegrounds, but a horse in a mountainous terrain is not going to be as good as a ram or a goat would be. Right. Also, the better, not all horses are the same. So the better the mount, the more places it's going to be able to go and like do well in. And also the more points it's going to get you for the individual battle week. So we'll also have art for each one of these. So you'll be able to see how sweet this mount is. And it also, though, might be a little icon next to your character on the leaderboard that shows which mount you're using at any given time. Right. So that's the idea of the system. And again, the details are we're still working through it, and we're going to test it here either at the end of this season or next season before it goes live. However, I'd like to show you a little bit about what we came up with so far, because I had a ton of fun making these. And I think I already shared one with you. But so far, we've gotten some pretty good feedback on these mounts so far. So I'm going to go ahead and share screen here, if we can get back to this live. And let me pull this up real quick. We're going to pull this guy up. And I actually want to do him last, just because. All right. So if we share screen, let's do a window. Let's do this guy. We're going to share screen. All right. So
that's fire, bro.
Can you see? This is
is fire.
Yeah. I thought this is pretty damn cool. So this is the Roombark Trollkin. Now, one of the problems that we've had so far from a class balance perspective is that everybody seems to really like the Forsworn. So one of the levers that I have to pull from a development standpoint is how freaking cool things look in each faction, right? So since everybody already thinks the Forsworn are so damn cool, I turned the heat up on the Aegis and the Bloodstrand mounts. So like, this guy is like turned the heat up. Like now, even Steed, the Forsworn ones still look cool. So it's not like you guys got yours. Actually, I think has the coolest looking mount. But this was one of the things I wanted to do to turn the heat up. So this bear is like freaking sweet. So then this is exactly what this looks like. This shot takes place in Bristlepine Foothills, which is the home zone. Essentially, it's like a pine forest, mountain foothills region within the heart of it, within Heartwood Vale. So just north of the main forest. So this is where they live. This is what you have, and this is what they ride. Right. This is the base racial mount for the Roombark Trollkin. So next up, I'm interested to see what you think about this one. All right. So can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me your thoughts.
This is okay. So this is actually what I was thinking. Not exactly what I was thinking, but kind of what I was thinking when you were talking about like a mountainous kind of goat kind of thing. But I imagine this is supposed to be almost like a mix between a bison and like, what animals are you combining here?
Oh,
either way, it's sick. I like it.
I can't give you the full sauce, right? But basically,
don't give it.
This is a combination of like it's basically a war elk. Essentially, is what I wanted it to be. So it's got some elements of other things, but basically, I wanted to really emphasize the strength and like the ferocity of it. We went ahead and added the tusks because that gave it like a little bit extra oomph. That made it look a little bit more fierce. So I really liked that particular touch. But basically, this is one angry reindeer, one angry elk, right?
Honestly, bro, it's when you consider it carrying a warrior of his size, it's obviously a beast. You know,
this thing is terrifying. Like, yeah.
Yes,
for sure. So this is the Thuldraki Northman, and he's riding his war elk or his battle deer, his battle reindeer. The names are still coming. I've got some template names that I'm not super happy with them, so they're still all placeholder. But yeah, so this is the Thuldraki mount. This is the next one. So this is the Undead Steed or the Undead Warhorse.
Yes.
So this one was easy. Like this one, like the Undead Warhorse aesthetic is super tight. Oops, I didn't mean to hit that, but spoiler alert there. But so this is a war cleric on his faithful undead steed. This is the horse he had before the cataclysm, and it continues to be his steed into eternity. So I thought this one turned out really, really well. So very cool here.
Yeah.
And then next up, we have our bread and butter Stormhaven warrior on his war charger. So this is the one that I like. I see this. Sense. Yeah. Like we don't need to get fancy here. Like this is a armored charger, armored horse. Like there should be no other mount for a human. Like this is what it is. So
I'm gonna throw in a recommendation.
What do you got?
Even though he's not my horse. Have it be all white, so that way when it goes through battle, you can see it's muddy, it's blood on it. Like I like that, you know. We
got some variations. This is just the one. The Palomino is my favorite kind of horse, so it's my favorite.
Yes.
My favorite.
I do like those. Those are my favorites too.
These are without a doubt. It's not even close. The with the white hair and the light tan skin, like it's a beautiful horse. So this is the character. This is what I want to be.
All the horse types in their names. Yes. No, that makes sense. So I that fits you. Honestly, it seemed like a regular soldier in the army. It fits.
Yeah, but bread and butter, man. This is what I got. So that's that one. And then this one is one I'm super pumped at. This one came out so good. I know. So the Pyrithir elf. These guys are so sick. Like everything I make for these guys just ends up so cool. So like the fire drake, the cinder drake, whatever you want to call it. Again, there's going to be multiple variations of each mount. There's going to be more aggressive mounts and more like tacked up, souped up mounts. And then so the thing is that the mounts specifically won't be necessarily faction locked, but these are like the basic mounts for each faction. Like this is the classic mount. When you see a Pyrithir, they're more than likely going to be on a Cinder Drake, right? So there's one more I want to show, and we're gonna have to back up to get through it. So if we go back here. So this is the last one that I have. I actually have all of them made already, but this is the last one I'm going to show today. We're going to leave the rest of them under wraps a little bit. All right. All right, so there's one more that I want you to see. So this one is very special for you. So this is the Velari mount. So the Raven Steed.
Look at that.
So I was particularly proud of this one. So this one, I think, again, it's the black.
I love its tail, bro. So I can picture this thing like, okay, so you got the glow of the purple eyes, right? Just imagine you're going through the forest and you see that, like just a glow, and then you hear the breath of that monster right there, and then you feel the blade go through your.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like these things are sleek. They're sleek. They're dark. Like
stealth.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, these things are sick, especially in Gravebloom in the forest. Like you're never going to see this thing coming, right?
No.
So you probably won't hear it much either because it's part bird, right? Like it's gonna be quiet.
Right.
Like, yeah, these things are just so cool. Like it doesn't matter. Like
so cool.
The Velari are just so damn cool. Like it's so hard. Like I try to make everything else cool as possible, and then I still end up liking the Velari.
I'm gonna be real with you though. That bear, that's my favorite one. I'm not even gonna lie. The bear is
this guy. The bear is cool. Yes. I know. I was like, I was so very happy with this one. I was like, oh yeah, let's go with that one. So anyway, so
that's so sick. Dude.
These are the mount systems, right? Again, mounts will have some restrictions as far as what mount you can use with what race or whatever. And then there will be like epic versions of mounts which give you better benefits and you can earn them over time. So this solves one of the major problems with the development, at least of Pathbound, is that rewards are hard when you don't have gameplay specifically, right? When you have gameplay, you can provide a power boost to the character as a reward, and the vast majority of rewards in games are power boosts or cosmetic boosts. So we don't have the element really to do a whole lot with the power boost, but this is one thing that we can do, both a cosmetic boost and a power boost both at one time, and I think this could be very good. So we haven't talked a ton about rewards, but predominantly the ones that we're working on right now are mostly titles and then leaderboard accessories. So we've showed the leaderboards a little bit. Right now the leaderboards are very bare bones and basic, but eventually the goal is to have a fully fleshed out, very well designed and very aesthetically pleasing leaderboard that has like your character name, its titles, again, which you can earn via playing the game. And then also icons, frames, like all the things that you would expect from a normal leaderboard. And those would be predominantly a lot of the rewards that players can get, because really Pathbound is about building your legacy over time, right? The thing that Pathbound is trying to solve, or the problem that Pathbound is trying to solve specifically, is how do you make fitness fun over time, right? Because I think the hardest thing, and this actually transitions well to what I want to talk about today, like the hardest thing I think for fitness in general, and just like maintaining your health goals, staying in shape, doing all these things, like it's not so much the knowledge, it's not so much the like how to go about doing things, it's how to keep doing them over time without getting burnout or tired or bored or like without switching priorities to something else, right? How to keep it high on the priority list and how to keep it engaging, right? That's the hardest part about fitness. And that's the problem Pathbound solves, right? Like that's what I built Pathbound to address.
It helps for sure, because again, like I've mentioned before in the other episodes, it's like, I'm already going to work out. Like that's going to happen just because it's ingrained in me. But this adds that extra piece, that extra oomph that makes me like, I'm going to go a little bit harder though than I would have gone. You know what I mean? And that's for somebody who doesn't work out, I can see it just keeping them consistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah. So tell me this far. So this is one of the things I wanted to talk about, and we can transition. I want to talk about some of your thoughts on the fitness protocol specifically, and the 4 things that we recommend from a Pathbound standpoint. But I want to know, like, well, actually, let's do that first. I want to hear your thoughts on, particularly on the cardio and the strength recommendations for as far as Pathbound goes. So, just to break things down in case you haven't watched the previous episodes and this is your first time coming in, like welcome, obviously. But so the way Pathbound works is that you need to get essentially 5 points per category, and we have 4 categories. It's steps, nutrition, cardiovascular, and then strength training. So when it comes to the cardiovascular and the strength training, it's essentially for every cardiovascular session that you do of greater than 20 minutes, you get a point, and you can get 1 point per day for those up to 5 points. Same thing applies for strength training, and we've laid it at 30 minutes, right? So it's 30 minutes strength sessions, 20-minute cardio sessions. You can get 5 of those per week. I think that keeps people engaged and actually pushes people to do those types of things and get those points without risking overtraining, and honestly, without risking undertraining either, right? Because that's another thing that can happen, is you can just not be doing enough and not get results. Although I see that way less than doing too much too quickly.
Way less.
Yeah. Most people, when they start, they do too much. But I think that goes here. So walk me through how these recommendations of these strength training sessions have changed or have made you feel so far, being 5 weeks into the season, almost 6 weeks into the season.
Honest, it irritates me.
Okay.
But what I appreciate about it is that even though I begrudgingly try and oblige, it's still, I can see the mind behind it, where it's like it does, because when you think about a traditional strength training session, if you're doing a traditional strength training session, you should be in there for 30 minutes. That's just the reality.
At least.
Typically people go longer. Right. Yeah. Typically people go longer in those strength sessions. And so I get that. And then the cardio, honestly, I thought it would be flipped. I thought it would be longer cardio, shorter strength. But when you really think about what you need for cardio, at least to get in the Krebs cycle and burn fat and all that stuff, 20 minutes is fine. So it's like, it makes sense. That's what I can say. It makes sense. But it is definitely irritating.
But it's still irritating to you, even though it makes sense. Yeah. Fair. And that's the thing. And like, I think that's what makes you different than the average, like than my target audience for Pathbound, right? So you obviously have this training, like you have an exercise science degree, like you spent your entire adult life, like pay with fitness being in a big part of your life. But the average person hasn't, right? So they don't know all this stuff. So it's very interesting to me. So you mentioned a point about the average person doing way longer. I literally was just talking to my little brother today, Trey, who's now playing Pathbound as well. But I was like, how much did you work out today? And he's like, bro, I've been in the gym an hour and a half every day this week. And I'm like, dang, like, you know, like, but to be fair, like I used to do that too, right? Like, so from my perspective,
you know what that just made me think of? Remember when we were in the gym and you were like, I was like sitting and watching you guys work out. You were like, dude, why aren't you doing anything? I'm like, I'm already done.
Yeah, you literally were just sitting there. We were like 20 minutes in and you were like laying on the bench. Like, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, where are you at? So you know, I and my volume used to be way higher. And like, honestly, I could still benefit from more volume than I'm doing now. Because volume is important, right? Like it is a big role.
One of the metrics that is manipulatable to achieve your goals for sure.
Yeah, 1000%. But honestly, like I just don't have time, right? Like it's a life thing, right? Like I had a heck of a back then. We had a lot more time than we do now.
A lot more time.
So anybody, I just want to put this PSA. Anybody, if you are 20, like do take advantage of this time you have right now, because when you have kids and a family and like when you get older and a career, and when you've built everything that you're looking for, like you're gonna have no time. You think you have no time now, but you're it's a joke. Like you're gonna have no time. Right. So that's my PSA. Right.
Right. Tess and I talk about that all the time. We're like, what were we doing with our time? Because I'm like, yo, I have no idea where all this extra time came from. Because I'm like, it's just insane. It's like it's literally a time warp. Like I thought I was busy then. No, it's not even close.
Not even close. Completely different world. So take advantage of the time you have now. That's my bit of wisdom for this podcast.
Yes.
But so like, so as we say, he's like, I've been in the gym every day for an hour and a half. And I'm like, well, you got your points. like you only get 5 points. But like, that's what I want though. Like, I didn't want to set, you know, you get 5 points or you get 1 point for every 30 minutes that you spent working out and you get 12 points or whatever. Like it's not feasible for the average person. And I don't want people to have that. So that's one of the reasons why it's capped. So I think that the cap helps get you into that range where you're not overtraining, you're not undertraining. But obviously everybody's a little bit different. So if you've been working out forever and like you have your setup, like we can make adjustments, right? Like, so you and I actually had this conversation face to face because you were upset about the 20-minute cardio rule. Like you were upset because like you have demonstrated, like data shows you don't need 20 minutes.
You don't. Right? And in fact, and that's part, and that's again, it's like, okay, all right. Like, when there are ways for busy adults like us to have the same benefits or similar benefits with shortened time, but you just have to ratchet up the intensity a little bit. And so that's where I run. That's the realm I'm in constantly, where it's like when I work out, I'm going hard that entire time. Yeah. So the equivalent then is basically like somebody who's going at a moderate pace for the time frames you're talking about.
Yeah, and 100%, and that's how it works, right? So like that's fair too. Like, so what my encouragement to you was like, okay, well, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing it for 20 minutes. Like you're doing 3 cycles and I'm doing 8. Like
right.
Maybe we can come to some sort of agreement as far as let you get these points a little easier. But like I'm going hard, minute on, minute off. Actually, I have 3 different intervals that I do. I do a minute on, minute off. I do a 30-90 split, 30 seconds on, 90 seconds off when I do my sprints. And then I have a 4 minutes on, 1 minute off that I do when I row, because I like the row. I like that long endurance for my row exercises. So I think that tends to feel better to me. But so like I'm doing interval training as well, and we're doing it. But I think the 20 minutes is a good mark just for the average person to get out there and do something and say, okay, I got some work done today. Right. So how has it affected the consistency in which you work out? Like, are you more consistent, less consistent, or are you more happy about the consistency?
I guess I wouldn't say so. The things that I think it's helped with the most, honestly, is the steps. Because I never paid attention to steps before.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, yeah, get steps. Cause I mean, again, the research is all there about like lifestyle and steps and all that. So there is data behind why getting steps is important, but I never cared about it. And so I'm like, whatever. But literally, I kid you not. So I was on call, what was it? Thursday night. And then I'm on call this weekend, right? And Thursday night, I was like, I think I was at, I forget, I was like, I don't know, I was at like 5,000 steps or something like that. And then I was like, no, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. So
I gotta get that point, man.
I started running around the unit. I was moving, like, and they're like, "Yeah, stop running." I'm like, I don't care. I got an objective right now. It's a good thing because it pushes me in areas that I wasn't being pushed before, and it does still keep me motivated to do the things I already do. And it makes me upset now when I miss a workout. I didn't used to get upset. I used to be like, whatever, I'll be all right. It's okay. As long as I worked out more days than I didn't, I was like.
But the thing is time, right? So it all goes back to it's the time that's the problem. You need to be able to do it long enough to actually change your body and change your perception and change your brain and how your brain reacts to these things. And the only way to do that is to do it consistently over time, which again, which is why we have the seasons in Pathbound, right? Seasons. Yeah. Like I want you to think on 12-week time frames, not 1 week, not 2 weeks, not 21 days, right? Like I want you to think on 90-day cycles because that's the amount of time it's going to take for you to see noticeable change and actually like get results that you want and actually like change your body. And the other thing too is like from a cellular level, like in order for your body to build more mitochondria, heal its mitochondria, have those mitochondria actually unlocked, like change insulin resistance. All of these things take time. And like you just have to do it long enough. And like, if your goal is to get abs in 21 days, like A, good luck because it takes a hell of a lot longer than that. But B, like you're not going to see those massive changes and you're going to get frustrated and quit. Right. So I think that's one of the things that like, I think Pathbound has been so great. It is.
So, and there's something about it. It's similar to the CrossFit kind of mentality where it's like, when you have that competition and you have those people around you, and eventually, like people start to develop these communities and an identity inside of these things, and you want to support your team. And so just that alone will push you to do the things. And then, like you said, over time, it changes the way you even perceive it. Like when I tell you, this was a couple years ago, when we were in Disney, bro, it was so much bad food. I was like, I'm craving good food. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get some literally blueberries. Let me get some blackberries, some raspberries. Yeah. I need something else besides this. I'm like, I'm over it. I can't deal with this anymore. Yeah. So we ended up going to the grocery store. But I'm like, I have to have this. I can't keep going at this rate. It was unsustainable.
Yeah, and so again, I think this leads into you being more perceptive of your body and like how you feel, because I think this is a super important part too, is that like you are in tune with your body's needs, right? The vast majority, particularly in our country at least, the vast American is so used to living in a state of chronic inflammation that they don't even realize they're in it anymore. Like they don't realize how bad they feel because feeling bad is just normal. Which is
wild when you really think about it. That's crazy.
Is mind-blowing. And it happens to me too. Like when so after I got married, there was a period in time in which we were not doing what we needed to do, and we gained weight, and like we got not feeling good. We had a ton of good food in the meantime, but like we weren't doing the things that we needed to do, and like it creeps up on you. It's like insidious. Like you don't really notice it until you stop. Like, and then you're like, oh, I've gained 20 pounds, and I'm like, damn.
That's what happened. That's what happened, bro. So let me tell you. I don't know. Maybe I've shared it. Maybe I haven't. I don't know. I'm gonna spill it all right here.
Spill it all.
So I didn't even realize. I noticed that I was like gaining a little bit of weight, but again, I was still working out, and I was like, okay, I'm still strong. I'm able to do the things I was doing. So whatever. Yeah. The thing that really pushed it over. So I went to increase my life insurance policy, and they were like, it's so bad. They're like, okay, well, we got to send a nurse out to assess you before we can increase it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So the lady comes to my house. She comes to my house, bro. She pulls out her tape measure. She does a waist to hip circumference measurement. And when I heard the number, I'm like, wait, what? hell no, that's not real.
Yeah.
And then she had me get on the scale, and I was like, oh my gosh, no, this can't be real. So then I went and got on our scale, which I hadn't used in ages. Yeah. I got on my scale and I was like, oh my gosh, no, this is real. I actually have gained this weight and I am fat. So then I was like, no, at that very moment, I was like, no. Then this is over. Done. And now I go back to what I needed to do. Yeah. That ever since then, it's been like, nah.
And that's the story, though, right? Like, so that stuff sneaks up on you, right? So we had our wedding, and like again, you look at my data on my weight scale, because I weigh pretty consistently. It goes like marriage here goes the weight, right? Yeah. Linearly upwards. So. But then, like, we had Lila, and then there's another little jump, and then it keeps going. And I was like, all right, man, I gotta lock this down. Like, I we can't be doing this anymore. But it's because I wasn't doing these things, right? Like, I just wasn't doing the things, right? But this is what happens. It sneaks up on you. But then, like, once you start doing the things, it all reverses, right? Like, and that's the story. Like, when you look at any of the Pathbound stuff, like, you can see, like, I have been very vocal about my weight loss and weight gain over the course of my lifetime, because I think it's important for people to know that, like, even fitness professionals, even people who do this for a living, still struggle with this sometimes, and like still ultimately choose to prioritize other things. Like, I chose my relationship and having fun with my family and enjoying that over doing these things on a consistent basis. And when I stopped doing the things, I gained the weight. When I started doing the things again, I lost the weight and I got stronger again, right? Like, it's repeatable. Like, you can consistently do this. So the goal is, how do we keep this going long-term? So like, Pathbound is just as much for me as it is for everybody else, right? Like, I need this. Right. Like, I need something to keep me more motivated over the course of the day and over the course of the year, right? Because here's the beautiful thing about this too, is like, the seasonal thing is something I've always kind of done anyway. But like, my plan, and this doesn't have to be everybody's plan, this isn't a Pathbound specific thing, but like, my plan is to spend the seasons focusing on specific things. So like, right now we are in the summer season of Pathbound, essentially. So when this season ends, it will be roughly October or September. It'll be somewhere in September. I can't remember what the actual date is, but it's 6 weeks from now. So it's now so it'll be the end of September, essentially, is when season 0 will stop and preseason starts. So I think it's 9/26, I think is what is the date. It's on a bunch of my promo stuff, but I can't remember it off the top of my head right now. So 9/26 is roughly when this ends, but that's going to run from 9/26 till December. So in my area of the country, that is the time in which you're most going to benefit from being outside, right? Right now it's too hot, but it's not like, it won't be cold enough by December in order to not go outside. So like, I will spend that time focusing predominantly on shedding weight and like getting out, being active, and increasing my cardio outside and getting more nature. Right. And then in January, it's too cold to go outside for me. I don't deal with temperature regulation very well. So it's too cold. So I'm not going to be running in January. Sorry. At least not outdoors. I'll do my sprint training inside, but I'm not running out on the trail in January. So from January until March, I'm going to be indoors and I'm going to be lifting heavy. Right. But then in March, it'll start to get nice again outside and I'll be able to go out and run again. So we'll have that season. In summer, it's too hot. Like, at least here, it's too humid in my part of the country. So I'm not going to be going out running outside consistently during the summer. So I'm just going to keep cycling back and forth, focusing on weight gain from a muscle standpoint, and then focus on leaning down throughout the season, getting more cardiovascular fitness from my trail runs. So like, but you have that ability when you have when you have Pathbound and on a 12-week cycle, like you can periodize like that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that aspect as well. I think that's a really cool part, having it week 12. And then also coming along down the edge, I think is we're going to have things like seasonal modifiers. Okay. So I've been thinking about this a lot as far as seasonal modifiers go. And I think one of the things, so right now I'll share a little bit about my path right now in my session. So I actually started my season, my 12-week season, 6 weeks before I launched season 0 of Pathbound. So I am finishing up my 90 days or my 12-week cycle in 2 weeks here. So on the 24th, I think, is when it actually ends. So I've got 2 weeks left. And so I wanted to see what I could do with my body in 90 days. And we went a little Rock Lee with this one. I put some brakes on. Okay. Because I'm like you, I know all the things. I know exactly how to do it. And when you look at some of my past weight losses, like initially my first weight loss when I was 16, I lost almost 60 pounds over the course of 3 months. Like,
nice.
Like that's insane. I went from being incredibly unhealthy, drinking like 8 or 9 Mountain Dews a day, eating McDonald's 3 times a week, like doing all the things I shouldn't be doing, eating fried food on the days I wasn't eating McDonald's. Like it was bad. Right. And that's how I grew up. So that's why I gained so much weight as a kid. I was 211 pounds. I couldn't do a push-up. I couldn't do a pull-up. Like I was in bad shape. Right. But when I did, I said, I'm done. I hit that point. I said, I'm done. I'm going to learn everything I possibly can. And I spent the summer between when I graduated high school and started college. I didn't have a job. Well, I did have a job, but I was only working some part-time hours. I had a part-time job, but I wasn't doing anything else at that time. So I said, I'm going to lose this weight now before I get to college. I'm going to get to college and I'm going to have a six-pack when I get to college. And that's what I did. So I literally learned everything I possibly could. I made a plan and then I executed the plan on that, but I did it like perfectly. Like once I'm in, my wife tells me I'm 0 or 1,000. Like that's how she describes my attitude. So I'm either doing things perfectly or I'm not doing them at all. So like, that's what I did. I did them perfectly. So if I did that this time, like I can guarantee I would be back down to 172 at this point, like 10 weeks into it. But I decided to put some brakes on. So one of the brakes that I put on is I could only work out between 30 and 40 minutes. My strength training sessions could be no longer than 40 minutes. At 40 minutes, I hit the stop. So that's different for me because usually I work out for somewhere between an hour and a half consistently, but I just like that. Like that's what I like to do. Right. And so, but I said, okay, I'm going to see what I can do with 30 minutes. And then same thing with cardio. Like there are frequently times where I would go and I would just go for a run outside, go for a trail run. I'd be out there for an hour. Right. 20 minutes, no more than 30 minutes, but really I haven't gone more than 25 because I hate cardio. Right. So I do 20 minutes. Those are the breaks. Can't do anything more than that. The other thing is that I'm going to drink. Okay. So I'm going to have an alcoholic beverage a couple nights a week if I want to, and I'm going to see if I can still lose weight while that's happening. Okay. While I'm doing that, because drinking is a trap, right? Like it's hard.
Yeah.
So drinking does two things. One, it screws with your metabolism. Like you're consuming caloric beverages that don't actually have that have calories but don't actually provide any nutrients. So your body struggles to do that. It also screws with your body's ability to maintain water as well. So but the other thing it does is it lowers your inhibitions and makes you much more likely to make stupid decisions from a nutrition standpoint.
Sure.
So I said, I'm going to drink low caloric beverages, which essentially consists of lime juice, club soda, which have no calories, and then some sort of liquor, right? So maybe 100 calories of liquor per drink, right? So that is as little as you can do. And I do that once, twice, sometimes 3 times a week. One drink once, twice, 3 times a week. So usually no more than 3 drinks a week. And I said, okay, can I do this, lose weight while I'm still doing that? So that was one of the other breaks. Because normally, if I were going to do it, I would just cut out alcohol altogether because that's the best way to do it, right? So far, I have maintained somewhere between 13 at the lowest and 20 points on Pathbound each week since I started this. And I'm down right now. I'm down 8 pounds. Okay, so I was at 191, and I'm bouncing somewhere around 182 to 184 right now consistently. So that is way less weight than I would normally lose in that period, in a 3-month period, essentially. So I'm thinking that it's probably the drinking that's doing that, but also I'm taking creatine, like I've gained muscle. Like if you look at my body now, and I'm gonna post my before and after pictures when I'm done, because there's a huge difference. Like I look way better now than I did before. Like there's a massive difference. So I know some of this, but I didn't gain 5 pounds of muscle over the course of the last 3 months, right? So I haven't lost as much weight as I normally have. So next season, I think I'm going to do a modifier to my thing. And I'm going to say, I'm going to cut out drinking next season. So I think the idea of season modifiers, I was thinking about this, and I think they would be cool to have some sort of icon next to your name on the leaderboard that shows any modifier that you add. Okay. So what this does is it gives you that visual representation, and you don't necessarily only need to have one modifier. You could have multiple modifiers to try to make things harder for yourself. And if you fail, and you, in my case for this, if you have a drink, then you lose the modifier. Then you self-report and you lose the modifier and you try again next season. Right. Or maybe there can be some failures. Like you get 1 failure, you get 2 failures. There's going to be there can be some, because I don't want to completely discourage people if they make a mistake. But the idea is that, can you complete this season without while meeting this goal all season instead of just meeting the goal throughout the week? So it would add a long-term goal to the idea of Pathbound. So there are some other ones that you could think of that I could think of. But
so one that I do, So when I was losing the weight, right? These were my rules. Anything that I did have like that had like sugar that wasn't like natural, it couldn't have more than 1 gram of sugar. Or no, it was 2 grams. It couldn't have more than 2 grams of sugar in the thing.
Okay.
And then if I did have anything that was outside of that, I had to do a cardio session for that.
I like it.
And so it was like
I like it.
I had to pay before. So it's like there's no credit card here. It's like if you don't have the money, you can't pay. And so you can't play, right? So then I'm like, so if I wanted to have an extra cookie or something, or have a cookie, it was like the only way I can do that is if I do a cardio session. It was either cardio, strength, or power. I had it like be a cardio, metcon, or whatever, right? But typically I went to cardio because those are faster sessions for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right.
Yeah, you got to burn the calories before you consume them.
Right, exactly. And then there's the added benefit of when you do that, when you eat the sugary beverage or sugary treat after, it helps with muscle recovery anyway, versus the other way around. Now you're just fighting that thing you had. So it's like I had to pay beforehand. And you wouldn't believe how often it stopped me from eating. Because I was like, I'm not about to go do sprints right now. There's no way I'm doing that. So I'm just not going to have the treat.
Yeah, no, and that's actually genius. So like, I actually love that concept. I actually use a similar thing when I would keep, because I don't keep stuff in the house. Like I don't keep cookies. Like I have no self-control when it comes to cookies. So I would literally store cookies. If I bought cookies, I would put them in my car. Particularly at winter. It's really good in winter because like if I want a cookie, I have to put my shoes on, put my coat on, and walk my butt out in the cold in order to get that cookie. And I'm like, it's not worth it. Like I'm over it. It's not worth it. But I really like that concept, and like that could be a fantastic thing. And that's the thing is that like when you have that, like it would be very effective because when you have that, like you again, the amount of times that you would just choose not to do that, like because we do things out of convenience, right? Like that's one of the things we're as humans, we're naturally lazy. Like you'll hear me say this 1,000 times. Like we were born and created in order to be lazy, right? Like so preserving energy is what we are good at. Like that's how we survive. Right. Yeah. So the goal is to eat. The goal of your body is to eat as much as possible and do as little as you can. Like that's what your body wants. Right. That's how you survive. Yeah. The problem is that, yeah, exactly. The problem is that we now don't need to do anything and then and our food supply is unlimited essentially. So, I really like that idea for a modifier. I think that was really good.
So, and that's the thing that when I was losing that weight and I was able to keep doing that. And then again, we went on, it's always when I go on vacation, things kind of go, all right, now I'm kind of drifting back. Cause I was like, so I had I had modifiers to that rule essentially, where it was like, if it's like a special occasion or a holiday, like my kids were even like, Dad, you got to go work out if you want to, like, do you want to eat with us? I'm like, oh, they were starting to think about me having to work out. I'm like, I can't have them thinking about me working out on vacation. Like we got to chill. So then I was like, okay, when I'm on vacation, I just have to have self-control to be like, okay, check certain things. And then I kind of fell off. And now I'm like, nah, dog, you got to get back into it. Not even just because I haven't gained any of the weight back. Sure. That's a blessing. But I like the way that felt having something like a payment to do the things. Like I had something to govern me. Yeah. Like if it's just me, I'm like, it's fine. Then I'll go do it, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's the thing too, is that like, that would be such an educational tool. Like I just thought of this while you were talking about that. Like that would be such an educational tool because most people have no idea the caloric content of the food that they're eating. Like most people don't know that there's 160 calories, roughly. It changes sometimes depending on how they do it, but there's roughly 160 calories in two Oreos, 160 calories. You know how long it takes you to burn off 160 calories on like a stair mill or a treadmill? Like 15 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how metabolically active you are, like at least that time, right? If not more, right? Like for the average person, potentially more. So like, you make 2 Oreos. Like actually it's very interesting. It's really hard to find a food that can pack more calories per gram than Oreo. Like it's so dense that like so calorically dense that like it's really difficult to find a food that actually packs more calories. Like butter's close, but like even I think Oreos are actually even more caloric dense than butter is, like per ounce. So it's pretty interesting.
You want to know one of my biggest weaknesses?
Oreos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had any. I haven't had any like straight Oreos dipped in milk since December, bro.
Yeah, good. I congratulate you on your soberness.
It truly was a weakness. Yeah. Like because once I start, bro, I'm slamming a sleeve. I'm like, boom.
Well, it's because it's the way that it affects your dopamine, right? Like, so Oreo is loaded with salt, fat, and carbohydrates, and that type of thing doesn't exist in nature. Like, no food on the planet is high in those three things, right? So it just doesn't exist. So your brain, yeah, exactly. Like, your brain doesn't know what to do with it, and it's like, all this stuff I like all at once, give me more. And it doesn't know how to process it. So like it's why it's so dangerous. And like, not to mention like all the other stuff that they add to it to make it more addictive. Like, if you actually look at the research in like the food in this country, it's gross. It actually makes me sick to my stomach how they literally specifically research how to make foods more addicting and then implement it into like that's where their money goes. They spend money to find out how to make things more addicting, which is ridiculous. Right. Yes, like it's like cigarettes. Like it's literally cigarettes. No, like it's terrible. I'm surprised they don't put nicotine in Oreos. Right. Like and honestly, they probably tried. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like they probably would if they could. Right. So anyway, but that's very interesting. I think that would be a really good, that's one of the things, like, you know, tracking from a nutrition perspective is actually really, I'm on the fence about it. Right. I think it's the single best, most educational thing that you can do from a nutrition perspective. Like, you want to learn nutrition, start tracking your foods, like start reading your nutrition labels and then start logging your foods. And that will teach you like what is made out of what. Like, I can look at a food at this point, you know, 20 years in, I can look at a food and I can tell you with probably within a 10% margin of error exactly what the macronutrients are and how many grams are what and what, right? Like eggs, for example. Everybody thinks eggs are a high protein food. This is the one I always use because it's the most, everybody thinks that eggs are a high protein food, but eggs are actually like somewhere between 60 and 70% fat, right? Like, so the white of the egg is the protein component, whereas the yolk has most of the fat. But like an egg itself is not necessarily a high protein food. Now, eggs can definitely be really good. I mix my eggs with low fat cottage cheese, which strips the fat from the cottage cheese, which again, that's a good part of the food. So like if you want it to be balanced and you want a good whole balanced food, eat the regular 4% or whatever cottage cheese. But if you want to use it as a protein supplement, you got to strip the fat. And then I add that to my eggs and then I mix them together. And then I have a very high protein breakfast. I throw some vegetables in there and then I eat berries with it. And that gives me a perfectly balanced breakfast. But so like I can engineer and craft that perfect breakfast because I know all those things. And the only way to know all those things, the only way to know what macronutrients are in what, like that, like berries, all carbs. There's no fat, there's no protein, like it's all carbs. So like you can take this high carb food and mix it with a protein and fat based food, and then you have a balanced meal, right? But you can't do that if you don't know what each thing is made out of. And that's probably the single most important thing that you can do from a nutrition perspective is learn what each thing is made out of. And the thing is like now that I know this, I don't have to track anymore because I learned, right? Like I know pretty much exactly what I'm eating at any given time. So I could eat intuitively because I have the knowledge, but you got to get there, which again takes time.
Right.
So I really think that like each one of these elements, the steps, the nutrition, the cardiovascular, and the strength training all take time to develop. But like we're working on currently, I'm working on the tutorial system to help walk you through and give you first steps for each of these, and kind of like a very like it's like a quest giver kind of way. So it's I think it's gonna be really cool once I get it done. But it takes a little bit of time. But like the goal there is to help walk you through and help start getting you points in each one of these categories. Because I really do. I think this is the move. I think this is the way to do it. And these are the four things that I do consistently. So I'll be interested to see over time how you feel better about the steps, like whether or not you feel it's helping a ton.
I think it is good because it makes me just aware of how much I'm moving in a day. You know, it's like, okay, you might work out, but that's not the end all be all, right? Still moving throughout the day. And one of the things that I've incorporated is walking after I eat, partly because of this, but also just because I was looking at research on it and I was like, that's actually really good for you to just walk after you eat. And so it's a very easy lever to pull to have exponential growth on like 10, 15 years from now.
Yeah, 100%. And the other thing too, the thing I really like about walking, and I think I may have shared this with you before, so forgive me if I have, but when I got COVID the third time, something like that, I don't know, I got it like 4 times. So when I got it like the second time, my heart like something was off with my heart. I don't know. It resolved. So I never actually went and got it looked at, but I was getting to the point where I could like sprint. Like I could do like a 50-meter sprint and my heart rate wouldn't elevate at all. Like it would not respond. So it was, I know it was like scary. Like, yeah, my heart rate just wouldn't increase. Like my breathing rate would increase, but my heart rate wouldn't. And like, I don't know what was happening. And I tried multiple different monitors to make sure my monitor was correctly. Something was going on after I had COVID that second time. So I was like, I'm not working out at all. Like, I'm just chilling. I'm going to walk and like, I'm not going to do anything else. But like, it was after grad school. So like, it was a point in time where I had gained some weight, but I had already lost the majority of it. Like I was in decent shape, but not great. But I still had some weight to lose, and literally I still lost a bunch of weight because I was able to walk like 15 to 20,000 steps a day. But that's all I could do, so that's what I did, and I ate right and I walked, and like it made a huge difference. Like I still lost a ton of weight. Like I still felt way better, but like, don't sleep on walking. Like everybody thinks walking doesn't actually do anything, but like if you're not getting at least 10,000 steps a day, and again, 10,000 is an ambiguous number, but like for me, it's worked. I think it's a good number, right? If you're not getting at least 10,000 a day, like try to push towards that, like whatever it is. Like I talked to my brother, and he was like, I was like, what's your step tracker say? Because almost everybody has either an Apple or an Android, and those phones track you whether you want them to or not. So like most times you can get a full like a month or 6 months or however long you've had your phone's worth of data on how much you step to give you a good step goal. But I was like, how many steps are you getting each day? And he's like, well, yesterday I got 17,000. The day before that I got 15,000. The day before that I got 19,000. I'm like, all right, dude, you got 5 points. Like you don't need to change anything. Like just keep doing what you're doing, right? But like if you getting over 10,000 steps a day, like focus on something else, right? Keep that going, but focus on something else, right? Like the diminishing returns after that are probably low. But one thing that is good is that also like you can do it every day. It doesn't you don't get sore. Right? Like you might initially, like if you're not walking at all and you try to walk 10,000 steps in a day and you hurt the next day, like your feet hurt, like that's reasonable, right? Back it off a little bit. But like once you get in the habit of like, you won't get sore. So like, even if you like yesterday, I crushed my legs. So today my legs are already getting tight and like miserable. Like I don't want to go run. That's why I ran early this morning. But like, I don't want to go run because my legs are sore, but I could go walk. I could walk as much as I want and it would be fine, you know? So you're not going to screw up a workout today or from yesterday by walking. Like if anything, you're just going to help get the inflammation out and feel better because of it. Okay, so I think we've got some good stuff so far. I think the next thing that I want to do specifically is I want to go over just a deep dive into the Aegis of Elaria. So we got more fun stuff coming. We got like a trailer coming and all that fun stuff, but that's going to come down the line. So what I want to do here is I want to share my screen real quick, and then I want to go over just the Aegis of Elaria in a little bit more detail. So this was the initial faction. This is the first one we created. So I think it's reasonable to start there. They're also the best faction. So, you know, if you're going to start somewhere, this is probably the one. Can you see my screen here?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I want to introduce this predominantly too. So we have all these different modules. We have the Elaria 101, which is kind of like the tutorial module. This is where you spend a lot of time in this right when you first start, and then you kind of branch away from it as you go. It's got all the information and tutorials. We have the War Room, which is where you'll be each week putting in your battle submissions, looking at the battles, seeing what's actually going on in the war. Like this is your war hub. And then we have the nutrition and basics modules. All of these are the actual core modules that help teach you how to make good decisions, how to make major progress, and how to like really turn up the pace there. But then we have the library. So the library is one that we haven't really looked at a whole lot, but if we open it up, this is where we have the deep dives on all the lore. So the library is basically like the lore hub of Pathbound. And when I mean lore, I mean like the story, the background, the world. This is where everything really comes to life, and there's extra detail on all of those things. So what I want to look at today is the Aegis of Elaria. So this is some new artwork that we have for the Aegis of Elaria faction. So we've got a Stormhaven War Cleric here in all of his glory. I'm excited about this one. This one turned out really good. And then we have a Dwarf Shadowblade here with the Dwarven mask hanging on the shoulder. That's so no, it looked, these just turns out so cool. So, and then we have the Roombark Trollkin Elementalist here. So again, this takes place within the Bristlepine foothills area of Heartwood Vale, which again is just slightly north of the human territory and the home of the Roombark Trollkin. So we'll close that. So the Aegis of Elaria, they were designed specifically as like the good old boy faction. So these guys are the natural humans. These guys have been in power for quite some time. Initially, there was a fourth race involved in the founding of the Aegis of Elaria, and that were the elves, the high elves, so the Pyrithir, but they have pulled back. So they were, again, one of the founding races of the Aegis of Elaria, a faction designed to protect Elaria itself from all the invaders or any potential threats to the world of Elaria as a whole. So there have been multiple over time, but these guys were the ones that held the line predominantly. So when we think about this, that means that they weren't designed for this war that they're in now, right? They were designed to protect Elaria, and Elaria has been their kingdom for a long time. When the Graveshroud Cataclysm happened, which destroyed the second human kingdom. So you have Stormhaven, which was the main human kingdom, and then you had a second kingdom, Calderon, who had slightly different philosophies. They were more magic focused than the Stormhaven, who tend to be more spiritual and more working the land kind of peoples. Whereas the Calderon humans, they said, okay, well, this really isn't perfectly our vibe. We're going to migrate east, and they took over the eastern areas of Graveloom, so which were again foresty type areas before the Graveshroud Cataclysm. So these guys are used to being in power, and they act as such, right? So they consider themselves the protectors of Elaria, the Aegis, the shield of Elaria, but they are the founding powers. So again, with the Stormhaven humans, the dwarves, and the Roombark Trollkin, they basically hold on to the regions that they have with ferocity. So their goal is to protect their lands at all costs. So these guys are less aggressive. So they're not going to be attacking predominantly. The goal is to attack and gain point, but these guys care a lot about the world that they live in, and they will protect their lands fiercely. So the other thing that really drive these people are the naturalist cause. So we've talked about this before a little bit, but naturalism is the idea that you draw power from within. So making pacts with different beings, or drawing power from others, but that's not really how things work. So when we think about the Aegis philosophy, again is to build from within. I talked about this earlier. This is why this faction is me. Like literally, I just created me in this faction, which is why, despite how cool the Velari are, like, this is what I believe in, right? I believe that you draw power from within. Now, again, with the war cleric, like, you're not necessarily drawing power from within entirely, right? So, but the idea is that it's channeled from within, and that you build, and that ultimately you are the result of the choices that you make. So, the war clerics, specifically the Stormhaven war clerics, they do worship Elaria as a holy power. So like they have the light of Elaria. So they do draw from the planet itself, but it's more about building themselves over time, right? Building and growing and then expanding outward over time. So long time ago, there was a process in which the Aegis basically attacked anybody who didn't believe that way. So over time, a philosophy called variantism came to be, and that was the opposite. That was, you can draw power from wherever you want. And oftentimes this allowed people to draw power from dangerous sources when they weren't ready for it. It allowed that to speed up that process, because the process of building power from your own takes time and energy and commitment over time, consistency. So with the Aegis, that's what they protect. But the variantism, they also really tried to squash that down quite a bit, which is why a lot of the humans pushed east, right? And not only just humans, but other races as well tended to push away from the human kingdom and the Aegis as a whole, because of how staunch they were about that. So we think about this, the core philosophy there is discipline, right? So the Aegis value discipline above all else. So even more so sometimes than honor. So as we look through here, the rivalries, obviously the Aegis and the Forsworn, like they don't hate each other, right? At least from the Aegis standpoint, the Aegis does not hate the Forsworn. They kind of see it as it's kind of sad, right? Like they're just like, I wish these guys could see this. Like I wish they could see it from our point of view. Now there is one exception to that, and that's the Grave Rot. And again, with the Cataclysm, there was the potential that the human kingdoms and the Aegis specifically could have intervened and stopped the Cataclysm. So there's a little bad blood there. Like there's a little bad blood coming one way, but the Forsworn or the Aegis kind of look at what happened in the Cataclysm as a tragedy more so than anything else. And then with the Bloodstrand, like the Aegis, literally, it's a resource war. There's no bad blood there, but the Aegis own and control Frostforge Mountains. And Frostforge Mountains is a resource-heavy zone, and they have spent the vast majority of their time protecting the mountain because the mountain provides them with ore, and the mountain area also has a forested area, and the entirety of Heartwood is a forested area. So these are the resources. It has food, it has ore, it has wood, it has all the resources that you need to be successful. So the Aegis is really just about defending what they have, right? Holding what they have. They're not conquerors. They're not trying to crush anybody. But in this situation, like, everybody else is trying to take what they have. So it's them or us, essentially. So the main areas that the Forsworn have, or that the Aegis have predominantly, they hold the capitals of both. Let's pull this up here. They hold the capitals of both Durakal, which is the dwarf fortress built into the mountain, and then they hold the Heart, where the Stormhaven city is their capital as well. So these are really the social hubs of this. Stormhaven was built on a cliffside with a harbor built down into it. They're a nautical race, so they
beautiful place.
It is a beautiful place, right? So. I know. I was just showing some new members this, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this art is so sweet!" And I was like, "They're like, I want to live there." And I was like, "I know, me too." Like, that's why I made this, right? So their goal, again, this is the happier, like, this is the faction that is like, okay, if you want to feel cozy while you're doing this, I think the Aegis of Elaria is probably for you, right? Like, they are solid, they are disciplined, they are strong, but like, it's definitely less brutal here than it is in the other two factions. So I think about the type of player that would want to play Aegis, and I think about people like me, right? Like, people who value beauty and who value like tradition and really want to just build a life where they can live happily with their families and protect it, right? So it's very much a protector, a guardian. Like, if at some point there is a paladin race or faction class, if at some point there's a paladin faction coming, or a class coming, it would feel right at home here, right? We already have the war cleric, which I think is better anyway. But like, so this is your
paladin. That's my class. I love a paladin, dude.
I know. So and paladins can work a couple different ways. So I think maybe eventually paladins will come. But that'll be time. Again, the war cleric, I had the decision between the paladin and the war cleric at first, and I was like, no, let's do the war priest. The war priest is where it's at. So
for sure.
But anyway, so that's a kind of an overview. It's a bit of more of a deeper dive on the faction itself. So there's more to see here, more to come. We have actual characters and like the leadership and all that's coming. But this is where we're at now as far as having this overview. And next week, I think we'll try to do the either the Bloodstrand or the Forsworn and get a better idea of what they're for. But so the last thing I really want to do today before we close up is go through the war now. Like, where are we at this week? So it's getting ready to move into week 6. And this has been a weird week in Pathbound, particularly because I was out. So I haven't had everything come up. But where we are at now, I'll kind of walk you through it because I do not have them completed yet. So this is what it looked like last week. So you and I have already had our little mini war council, but we essentially kind of balanced out last week. You lost 2 points, but gained 1, which let the Bloodstrand come back to even. So we're now all back at 6 points. So the board is balanced now, except you and I have one of each other's points, right? So you attacked first, I think, this week, correct? Yeah, I believe you did. And you elected to take back, or to attempt to take so we look at this, you are going to take, I own that currently, and that's your point, and you're going to try to take that back this week. So and in Aegis fashion, I decided to protect my territory and get my forces back into Eastwatch Garrison, so I have that protection on Stormhaven, because protecting Stormhaven, that's the goal, right? So I have elected,
I had to take that so I could protect Valeris. I'm like, I can't not do that.
Well, in your case, I know Valeris is your racial home, but Kingsfall is at risk too. So Kingsfall, that's the grave rot capital city, and I'm one step away from taking Kingsfall. So so we both elected to do that, which left the Bloodstrand up to attack whoever they wanted. So, and after much deliberation, the Bloodstrand decided that they were going to try to take back Velaris from you today and push deeper into your and I'm suspicious that the majority of that is because next week you will be attacking last, which puts you in the seat of power to be able to determine what happens. So there's probably a wise decision for her to attack you this week. And so instead of letting
fix your brain. Come on.
No, you don't want to come at these mountains. You don't come at these hills.
You hit slip.
It was the strategically good decision because when you have power next week, that would have left you with the ability to potentially push even farther, and we both would have been in trouble. So,
and I say you can do better than this.
So she's listening. I promise. So that puts you in this situation again, 2 weeks in a row where you're being attacked on two fronts, plus your initial attack. So last week you took your goal, but you also lost 2 points in the process. So now knowing that, how do you want to proceed? Do you want to continue with your attack, or do you want to withdraw your attack and get double points for your 2 defense?
Dang it. Come on.
I think you're back.
My gosh.
All right. I think you're back. So that puts you in a situation this week where you are also in 3 battles again. So last week you elected to keep all 3, keep your attack, and you ended up gaining that at point, but you also lost the other 2. So you're now in this situation again, knowing what you know now. What would you like to do? Would you like to continue with your attack, or would you like to withdraw and get double points for your...
I'm going to do double points. I'm going to do double points.
I think that's fair. So you're in a pretty good spot right now. That'll give you the opportunity to keep hold of Eastwatch Garrison. I'm sorry. Yes, keep hold of Eastwatch Garrison, but that also means that Silver Mist Thicket stays mine. So, so you're, no matter which way the cookie crumbles, you're still at threat next week. But again, you move last next week, so that lets you kind of determine a little bit better what might actually happen. So,
this is revenge season now.
Good. I hope you go after her. That makes me feel way better.
Attack.
Yeah. For the last 2 weeks, the Aegis and the Forsworn have been duking it out down here south. So I would love to see the Forsworn go after the Bloodstrand. That would be fantastic for me.
We didn't learn our lesson, Ryder, and now I will attack you next week.
Well, she gets to move first next week, so be careful what you wish for. So
hey, that's fine. You know what? I don't care what I lose. This is betrayal.
Oh no, I lied. She does not. I move first next week.
Oh man.
So she'll move second, but she'll still get to move before you do. So, all right. So that's it. So that's what we'll do. We'll have 2 battles this week. We'll have Stormhaven attacking Eastwatch Garrison, and then we will have Gutpost 1 attacking Velaris. So I will go ahead and get that worked up. Hopefully I'll have that done by tomorrow. And then I need to, I need to do that tonight because the battle submissions are due tonight. By midnight. So a little bit late, a little weird, wonky week this week, but we'll get that set up. So make sure you get your battle submission in. But otherwise, I think that's been basically a wrap on what we wanted to talk about today and much more. So don't forget, if any of this seems fun to you or you want to get involved with this in any way, we're still looking for founding members. The price is temporarily dropped a little bit, so take advantage of that. So the link is in the description now. So just pop on over, hit that, and then check it out. We have all the information there on the About page, and then you can start your free trial. You have 7 days to kind of check it out and see what you think. So I would recommend hitting that with the link in the description down below. Do you have any closing thoughts?
No, guys, let's get it. Join the community straight up. It's I think it's worth it. If I had to put this all in summation, it will push you to be better, the better version of yourself that you want to be.
Yeah, so for sure. And it'll equip you and give you a reason to do it, right? Like everybody knows what they need to do. The hard part is actually doing it, right? Consistently doing it. So like that's what this is for. That's what we hope to do. We give you all the resources, but we hope we give you a reason to come back week after week, each week. And Pathbound is just getting started. Like this has been going, we've been working on this for like 3 months, right? I am so excited to see what we do with this after 3 years. Like what this becomes after 3 years. The time it's just getting started. So now is a really good time to get into because you can help build it, right? So like I'm still building majority of this. So like you can help guide the path and help move this into what you want it to be. So right now it's less than half the cost of Netflix, right? Like, so get in there, get it done, and join us because this is fun and we're having a blast with it. But once we start rolling this out to more and more people, it's going to give even more and more fun. So we hope you join us. Again, link in the description. Thank you for watching and we will see you next week.
All right. Peace.